The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to Propaganda, brought to you by Levi Solicitors. 10% off your legal fees. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. It's Dan, Michael, and Moscow bringing you part 2 of Propaganda, which could be not as much fun as it has been in recent weeks. Post West Ham, nice to hear fans sad from other clubs. We're quite sad this week, but we'll get over it. So what have we got then? Come on, Michael, what have you found?
Blue Boys Network. We had him on last year. I remember him because he's a Brummy Everton fan, which is weird. I don't know why you sort of you kind of accept like Arsenal and Scum fans being from elsewhere, but somehow you're an Everton fan with the Brummy accent. I think because it's another strong regional accent as well, you just expect that he would have gravitated towards Villa or Birmingham. But I
mean, the other thing as well is that with the West Midlands, there's so many clubs in that neck of the woods. You know, even down to Walsall, Wolves, whatever, West Brom, Birmingham, Villa. Just pick one of them from there.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
I don't care what your reasoning is.
I don't know why he's ended up on Everton. Probably a family thing, or maybe got the kit wrong, meant to buy Birmingham one, got picked up the Everton one instead. He was like, oh well, stick with it. Yeah. But he was being fairly nice about us, to be honest.
I have nothing against Leeds. I like Leeds as a club, but they just didn't turn up today. From a Leeds perspective today, I think you'd be very disappointed. They didn't really lay a glove on Everton. There was a couple of opportunities. I mean, Rodrigo, very unlucky. I think he hits it's probably the crossbar. It was the corner of the goal and the very top of the crossbar in the first half. From about 20 yards, 25, maybe 30 yards. It was fun. It was fun hunting shots, but it was brilliant. It was really, really good, but it just didn't quite go in for him. But there wasn't that Leeds that we saw against Villa. There wasn't that intensity in their play. I think anything Leeds threw at us today, Everton had an answer for. And that might have been because Everton were fantastic, and it might have been because Leeds were poor.
Did he drop a C-bomb in there?
He did. Thunder charactering.
All right.
Is what he said.
It's a bit excessive.
I was listening to that in a children's soft play area as well, with headphones on.
Playing on the speakers.
It's worth saying.
Hey kids, gather around.
Probably the crossbar as well. Yes, the crossbar.
He means because it was
the angle.
It was the angle.
How dare he start that at 20 yards? Start at 30 and then work out. It was a great effort.
Great. Well, he's probably right.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was not getting too carried away though, in fairness, because it'd be quite easy to watch that and go, we are now brilliant. But it was like, well, Leeds didn't seem quite right.
They did get carried away with it, with all the in the ground, with all the Frankie Lampard
but if you can't
chancing
enjoy
him, waving to 3 crowd and all that.
If you can't enjoy a 3-0 win though, we've just been saying in the first part we need to try and enjoy football, and if you can't enjoy a 3-0 win at home, that's clapping him but going, but remember,
it's Frank Lampard
next week, tough games still to come.
I think that's what I struggle with, is I just can't imagine applauding anything that Frank Lampard does ever. Imagine if he was a Leeds manager and we won, it'd feel horrible, wouldn't it?
I've tried to avoid confronting the Lampard aspect of this. I've just buried it deep down and ignored it.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretending Walter Smith is in charge, or someone, I don't know, Mike Walker, someone who I don't hate.
Well, I just hope that like Duncan Ferguson is really running things like just every single day. Lampard comes in and just is dodging punches from the moment he comes in to the moment he goes home.
No one's firing Big Dunk, are they?
No.
No matter who comes in, there's always a place for him.
He just stays as assistant manager to everyone. Benitez got rid of everyone at the club, didn't he, more or less? And then he was like, and obviously you will be staying, Duncan.
Slamming the door of Lampard's office open in the morning. You think you're taking the credit?
Cellino never used to like firing anybody. He used to get somebody else to do it. Imagine the situation with Duncan Ferguson.
Even when he's being nice, he's terrifying, isn't he?
He is. Right, let's get on to Toffee TV then.
They were pleased we took Rafinha off, basically.
Yeah. Were you?
No, I was not.
Second half, again a boost. At half-time, Rafinha went off for Leeds. They made the double change at the break. And Everton just totally commanded the game. We allowed Leeds to keep playing their football, which they did do to their credit. And you have to give credit to their fans as well. They didn't shut up all day, even a 3-0 down. At the end, he was still singing. So fair play to them. And fair play to Bielsa's team, because they did just keep passing and keep going for it.
Well, stop being nice about it.
A lot of fair play.
I don't like it. We're supposed to hate ourselves this week.
That's what I mean. Even being nice about the way we played, which in fairness is easy to do when you've completely dicked someone. I really like the way the opposition played in letting us score goals. Good. Really good, that.
They're being annoyingly reasonable. I don't like them because they're being reasonable.
Yeah, I know. And there's more of it to come. The Blue Room. they basically got to the point of saying this might be the best Everton football club I've ever played.
Really?
Which I think is indicative of the bad season they've had.
Were they not alive in 1985 or thereabouts?
Well, no.
Well, they were great in... Oh, no, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm thinking. I'll just be quiet.
Cheers, Moscow.
That's a good contribution.
I'm honestly struggling to remember a time where we were that much better than an opponent in a Premier League game. Because even if you go back to the start of the season where they were beating teams like Southampton on the opening day, you had Burnley came to Goodison, I think we had Norwich as well, who we beat. And those games were all sort of quite even, they were quite bitty, and we got chances at times and we scored. But I think every single department today, in regards to quality on the ball, in regards to defensive play, in regards to aggression, in regards to work rate, every single thing, you do a checklist of what you want to see from your football team, and you say who won in that area today. It was Everton. Everton were just miles better than Leeds today. And listen, they had a couple of moments through Rodrigo in the first half, didn't they, which could have got them back into the game. But it wasn't like we were under pressure and they were peeling us back and they were probing and they were trying to get through, and you thought, oh no, there's a goal coming here.
Got quite medical towards the end there, didn't it? All that probing.
They're a funny team, Everton, in some ways, because he's talking about that start of the season they had when it was win, draw, win, lose, win, draw. And probably at that point, I don't know where they got to in the league, but you're thinking, Benitez...
I think they were fourth at one point.
Yeah, Benitez has got them playing, he's sorted out, look at this squad, they look incredible. And then it's it's 6 defeats with 1 draw in the middle that kind of did them, and then they've only won... Yeah, they won twice since then until us. So it's funny, there must be latent quality in that squad somewhere.
He just needed Frank Lampard to bring it out.
Mad, isn't it? Well, his whole thing, I don't know what Benitez...
Well, they looked good earlier in the season. Well, against us, didn't they?
So I don't know what Benitez must have been... we were quite pleased with that point, weren't we? Did we draw?
Yeah.
It was the first home game, wasn't it?
Whatever Benitez has been doing with them, because Lampard's whole thing is just getting them to enjoy it. Get on the ball and enjoy the ball, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, they did... I
like how they just turned us over 3-0 with a performance that was, let's face it, inspired by him, and we're refusing to give him any credit whatsoever.
Well, he's had enough credit. He was born in credit, wasn't he, because of his old family connections, and between him and the Harry Redknapp's dog, I don't know, he's probably had a better life. But so I'm not interested in giving him any credit, but it does seem that it's probably just that simple, that he's just, I'm not Rafa Benitez, so will you play well now, please?
I mean, I've not included a clip of it, but they had similar opinions about Alex Iwobi. They couldn't believe how well he played, because they were basically saying he's never played anything like this.
We do make opposition teams look amazing sometimes, don't we? That's one of the hard things I think to stomach with the way that we play, because teams genuinely do have to, in a physical sense, try harder against us. And we see so many times, with the game after, that people struggle, don't they? Like Villa at Newcastle this time, in a perfect example.
And the game before with Newcastle as well, because I don't know, maybe I'm not being unserious about this, the way Lampard went out to beat us, but against Newcastle they didn't look like they had a plan, whereas against us, and you can say it's because the way we set up made it easy for them to plan, but they had, the way Iwobi was playing, I don't think he played against Newcastle. They brought him in to do a job against Leeds, and it feels to me like Lampard just he rode the wave of the FA Cup game against Brentford, where they scored set pieces and the crowd's welcoming, whatever. Newcastle just went up and don't know what to do. Lose.
You promised me Newcastle won't get another point this season after they beat us.
It's crazy. Well, they won't now. Kieran Trippier's injured.
That's true.
But then whatever happened on Newcastle, almost like they weren't interested, but then they actually have a plan against Leeds and a way to beat Leeds, and everything's ready to there was a lot around it being the home Premier League debut for Lampard as well, getting the crowd on side. So it's like, this is the one we have to win. And it is, if you read the coverage in the national press, it's as if Newcastle never happened. Great new dawn, what a start for Frank Lampard. They were hammered in midweek when he didn't care about playing it well. Eddie Howe's a nice player, a nice guy, got a lot of respect for him, so happy to give him the points. Whereas the beef with Bielsa and Leeds going back so far, even when...
I love the chip on your shoulder about this.
Lampard, when he scored against Leeds when he was a teenager at Elland Road, went to the corner flag where his dad famously danced around the corner flag in an FA Cup semi-final in the start of the 80s, and did exactly the same thing. So he's got this historic...
He's invented this whole...
Not me inventing it. It's him going, oh, Elland Road, that's where my dad did this and that in
No, but you
whatever.
imagine you're projecting what you think he thinks onto this whole situation, which
But
is great.
that guy has two thoughts in his head. One is, I love myself. The other one is, I hate Leeds. It's not difficult to read him.
What about Paul Christine?
Doesn't give her a second thought.
Right, come on, back to this.
Yeah, to go back to Lampard's tactics here, they're essentially just saying how they beat us at our own game.
Oh, great.
That must be horrible when a team is beating you at your things. Like, hang on, we're meant to be good at this. Not you know. And if you take away that from them, if you can match them for effort and work rate and all that, and that's their route to getting results, then all of a sudden it's like, well, what do we do now, lads?
There were a lot of faces like that that looked down there, and Bielsa, I'm not going to say Bielsa because I think he's a wonderful manager, and he's done so much good in football. You think of the managers these days, Pep, for instance, you look at the career he's had, he was lost for an answer, because I think that's, going one side for 1 second, that's Leeds' issue in terms of succeeding, is the players they've got are decent at what he wants them to do, but the quality that they have aren't quite there. Like Rafinha, you can see why he sticks out like a sore thumb, because he's their best player, because technically he's awesome when he's on the ball, but there aren't many others in that. And I looked at Ayling second half, Matt, and you could just see with his body language and how he was talking to people around him, he looked lost for answers. He's looking around, he's the captain, he's looking around, and nobody could find an answer. So much so when they had it, he was just putting it down the line. He was just trying to get the ball upfield, going through the motions that we've seen so often this season of, look, I just want to get back to coaching and go home, mate. This is just not ours today.
It was, fine.
Annoyingly correct and respectful, aren't they?
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's really... This is not what this show's supposed to be about.
It's a good assessment on Ayling, actually, in particular.
I will say what'll happen to them as well in the coming weeks, because they'll have another dip at some point in one of their upcoming games, and they'll get well annoyed at not being able to match the output that they had against Leeds. That's one thing that they'll end up coming back to.
I'm surprised they're not more annoyed about the Newcastle result. Like, I would be wondering where that performance was for the last 15 weeks.
Yeah, but you're only as good as your last game, aren't you, as the saying goes.
I think what he says there is kind of interesting from a Leeds point of view, because when we're thinking about what happens next season if Bielsa stays or goes, there's been quite a few people starting to get on that train of some of our players are getting older. Ayling is he performing as well? How do we get Liam Cooper? Kind of, is there a succession plan? And it feels like opportunity rather than a big problem, because if we sign a new right back, does that then make us much better? So I think there's two ways of looking ahead to next season: another Bielsa inspired tiny squad disaster, or if the investment comes in the summer and we actually spend the money that we've kind of been sitting on our hands going, we're just going to see these 2 seasons out, we'll be okay, we bought those players last year, it'll be fine. If that unplugs and suddenly cash flows into the team and the squad quality lifts, and we actually sign a effing midfielder, or a seeing midfielder if you want me on an Everton podcast, how much better can we be playing Bielsa's football with much better players? I'd like him to stay long enough to have the next iteration of the squad that isn't just the Championship squad, but we get closer to more players on Rafinha.
He still brings Tyler Roberts on.
Yeah, he probably would. But you know, I was saying, right back at the start of the season that by the end of the season, Gelhardt should be ahead of Roberts in the pecking order, and so we go into next season with fit Bamford, and his understudy is specifically Gelhardt with no confusion, and Roberts is just out of the picture. And maybe we have other good players, because I wonder, is one midfielder going to do it? Will we get more?
I hope so. I really, really hope so.
So it's and we signed Firpo to replace Alioski. Haven't really seen him. Can he do better next season? Do we do something about right back to say we need a better version of Ayling? Lots of things. That's what I'd like next season, is Bielsa's football, but with a higher quality of player.
Right. Relegation?
Yeah, let's finish on something jolly.
Right,
nice little relegation battle discussion.
If you watch that game and you're not an Everton fan and you've not seen these two teams, which one of those two would you say the ones who are in real trouble this season? And I know we're closer to, we're a couple of points behind Leeds with games in hand and all that sort of thing, but that was so much needed.
Yeah. Annoying, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But then midweek we came back from 3-1 down to make sure we didn't lose, So
can we get Everton back and try and play another game?
I mean,
how it works?
yeah. It's a mad thing about football, isn't it? You play them another day and you might do a lot better.
That's one of the things about the Villa home game, actually, having another shot at them.
Well, let's enjoy how nice that was, because if we lose this weekend, this section next week will be, we're being on hill,
Do you know what?
being delighted with it.
I think now people's expectations have been lowered so far because of that result that it feels like the pressure's off a little bit, and conversely, it could work in our favour.
If you think the pressure is going to be off at 12:30,
Yes.
I'm not.
People are literally talking about booing Tyler Roberts onto the pitch.
No, I think it'll be awful. If we get pumped on Sunday, it will be awful. And if Tyler Roberts comes on when we're getting pumped, I think that's the point at which things could turn. I hope they don't, for Tyler Roberts' sake. But I think we're sort of creeping towards some dissent in the stadium because the obvious things are not necessarily being done. That said, in terms of the result, I don't think anyone's expecting us to do anything but lose on Sunday. So you never know. Anything beyond that could shift the mood in a far more positive way, is all I was saying.
possibly.
Let's put all that to bed for now, because we will do some wider world of propaganda, find out what's been said in the wider world of football. And often in weeks when it's difficult for Leeds, this is where the joy comes for us, because we revel in the misery of others. Mm-hmm. So what have we got this week?
Watford. I've been listening to Watford stuff.
Why?
On and off. Well, for this, obviously. Yeah. Trying to find some misery.
Doing his job.
And generally they've been fairly accepting of
but Watford?
Of relegation. I was looking, their last 8 games, they've got 2 points, and they've played, it's not been a bad run of games either. They've played Brentford, West Ham, Spurs, Newcastle, Norwich, Burnley, and Brighton, 7 games, sorry. But yeah, they've got 2 points. This week they lost to Brighton, and the people on the Rookery end finally seem to be cracking.
Well, it's our stablemates as well, because it's an athletic podcast, isn't it?
Indeed.
Great bunch of lads, etc.
Well, this isn't an athletic podcast.
No, it's not. But
so we are not.
We do
the better one we do with the
your stablemates. I'm sleeping in the farmyard.
Right. Anyway, let's listen.
And they looked like they were passing it quickly, they were passing it accurately, they looked completely in control of the whole of the first half, and we barely got a kick. I think we had 28% possession in the first half. 28%, John, at home. I mean, where's the ambition? Where's the ambition in the side? The players look frightened, they lack confidence, they didn't seem to know what they were supposed to be doing, particularly those 2 players out of position.
I like that noise, so thank you for finding that.
Yeah, they've had a bit of Hodgson now, and they're realising that he does this. The 2 banks of 4 thing that Danny Murphy was highlighting on Match of the Day, saying how they...
Did you watch Match of the Day?
No, it was the other week.
Oh, right, I was going to say, you maniac.
I did actually have it on in the background, truth be told. Although on Match of the Day 2, thankfully, I did notice as a nice little treat for Leeds fans, they didn't show yesterday's goals again because of the Super Bowl. So that was good. So we didn't have that.
Did you see any of the Super Bowl? I stayed up and watched it all. I didn't mean to. I got caught up in it. Got to the halftime show. I thought, this is quite an intriguing game, actually. After 50 Cent panted his way through his guest appearance. But then second half, I got caught up in it. Ended up watching it on my phone in bed.
So what happened?
Rams, the Leeds colours won.
Okay.
LA Rams, who knocked out the 49ers in what we would call the semi-final. Okay. One of the championship games, can't remember. But I don't understand that was decent. It was a decent... I'm starting to get a bit more of an understanding of how the game sort of ebbs and flows now, and how people use timeouts and how pressure builds and all the rest of it. But I do struggle with the concept of cheering, getting forward 10 yards.
Yeah, I would probably have watched it over Leeds Everton again.
Yeah, it was more fun.
Okay.
It was more fun. And that SoFi Stadium...
That's the one that cost £5 billion?
Yeah, the complex that it's built on as well. Yeah, there's like landscapes and lakes, and there's an arena there and stuff like that. But £5 billion is a lot of money. But it's Kroenke who built that, wasn't it? It was Arsenal's owner.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway.
We should have something similar in Beeston.
The Beeston Superdome. Can't wait.
With the lakes and all poisoned from the diesel of the M621.
They got that fish that swim out, like, the 3-headed fish in the lake in The Simpsons. Anyway,
on to Man United, because they've managed to throw away some points this week as well. Against Burnley, they managed to have a goal disallowed because Harry Maguire was offside and fouling someone. He just decided to kind of block Jay Rodriguez, get into the ball, and so a goal's ruled out. It was one of those VAR ones where you sort of think, if that's against us, I'd probably be fairly annoyed by it. But Flying Pig United was very annoyed because it was Maguire as well.
Named after Mel Sterland.
Yes, it seems so. But he hates Maguire anyway, so this was a nice moment.
What are they looking at here? Hang on a sec, don't even do this to me. Don't do this to me. What the fuck are they on about? And Varane peels away, it's beautiful. Slabby Maguire in an offside position, holding their player off. Is that what they're going to give it not a goal for? Because Slabby Maguire's just like blocking their player like a big concrete fucking pillar in an offside position. He has done as well. They're fucking going to roll. They're going to chalk it off because of the slab, I bet. Oh, they fucking chalked it off because of that fucking idiot Slabby Maguire. A beautiful fucking goal scored by Raphael Varane because Maguire's a fucking idiot. What are you doing, Harry? What the fuck are you doing, bro? We're not playing American football, lad. Why the fuck are you sacking off the player there with the balls before he's even fucking come in an offside position? What an absolute bloody idiot. What an idiot. He's cost us a legit perfect fucking goal there from Varane. Cannot fucking stand the man. What a fucking idiot, mate. What an idiot Slabby Maguire is, you know. What a bloody moron. What an absolute moron. Look at him, look at him, look at him. He's offside. Look. He's a moron, mate.
I mean, I know a lot of this stuff is performative and we rail against that, but I quite enjoyed that, even though it was performative.
He's getting his mileage out of Slabby, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just get a good joke and run it into the ground. You're going to do a Sean Dyche impression?
No. He's not. Not today.
Just your reminder that's £80 million Harry Maguire.
Don't ever buy footballers.
No.
They break and are shit. And are they are shit.
Football stand. Who's this?
This is the man who was calling people bitches the other day. Was it a bald bitch he called Anthony Taylor? I can't remember if it was that or
idiot bitch. We obviously
he calls one an idiot bitch, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I think he called Anthony Taylor a bald bitch or something like that, or bald shit. Might have been a bald shit actually.
He's really running the YouTube permissiveness down the line, isn't he?
But here he is enjoying Southampton's equaliser this week.
Oh, it's a chance for Southampton. Don't say that. Don't. No, it's a chance for Southampton. Oh, it's a goal. It's a goal. It's a goal. Not really. Again, the second half. Again, the second half. What a finish, but again, the second half, man. Again, the second half. And the last 15 minutes of the first half was very telling of this goal, man. Seriously, man. What the fuck is this shit?
Good.
Upset. less performative, but Webby and O'Neill also sound depressed, which is encouraging.
Yeah. If you've not sure why we keep doing that whenever we mention Webby and O'Neill, it's because one of them just seems to...
Webby's job is to go, yeah. Tony, yeah.
We're not sure why one of them keeps doing it either.
And you know what? You can forget top 4, top 6. I can't see how that's going to improve, Webby.
I cannot see. I've been saying this now. I don't see any improvements from Solskjaer. I don't see any. So, do you know what I seen there? That first match against Crystal Palace where me and you didn't
First half, yeah.
And we watched it there and I'm thinking, Christ's sake, wow. They've cheated. They've tried to prove a new manager for half an hour and back to the old rubbish.
Listen,
that's what it is.
We're disappointed. We know you are. There's not really much we can say about that, except, my God, it's got to improve.
Don't worry, lads, it will. Sunday, game of the season again, coming up for you.
They did say it's not improved since Solskjaer, and they did beat us 5-1 earlier in the season, so hopefully it's not improved.
Yeah, if it's only 4-1, maybe we'll get 2 goals.
Now's probably a good moment. Should we mention that, the charity walk that we're doing, the Gary Speed charity walks, like after the week after the end of the season, we've had to do, the second day has been completely remapped. You had to remap it, because there's a section of canal near Warrington, just no way through.
Can't get through.
So instead we're going through kind of Sale into like West Manchester. Where does it go straight past?
Directly past and I mean directly past. Yeah. We joined the canal right by Old Trafford there. Maybe they'll lay on some
a welcoming party,
some drinks and snacks for us or something.
100 Leeds fans turning up.
Exactly. Yeah.
And maybe if we have any special guests, we'll stick them to the front. Leading the charge.
Christ, I mean Webby and O'Neill off that. They're in the hotel football or football hotel, whatever it's called.
We go past it.
They're filming there, don't they?
Don't they live there?
Quite possibly. Yeah. In bunk beds together in a store cupboard.
Anyway. I mean, ahead of the weekend's game, let's not tempt fate too much and taunt them because it could be bleak this time next week. But
it's funny. We've previously mocked how Man United fans seem to be from like all over the place as well, but it's kind of nice not hearing Manc accents, isn't it? When you're just how Manc they are.
Your manager.
God, it's awful.
Manager.
It's a dreadful voice.
Yeah.
Don't know better with the manager.
But now, it's still very northern. I mean, for our international listeners, it might sound very similar to you in the way that you couldn't tell apart Americans and Canadians. And we had some sort of people explaining on Twitter like the subtle differences in the accents. And it's a little bit like when you get into smaller, like regional things. Like I'm from Bradford, and I can tell a Leeds person from a Bradford person. But just rest assured, that is similar-ish to Yorkshire, but ours is a lot better.
Oh, that's terrible.
Nobody outside Manchester sounds like Webby or O'Neill. And that's part of their charm, that they are very localised to the club they are supporting, but it just makes them much more difficult to listen to.
Okay. Final one for today.
Someone with a lovely voice delivering a lovely message.
I've been waiting for this.
This is Neil Warnock. It was Valentine's Day yesterday as we record. And he did, I don't know how this came about, but Laura Woods ended up getting him to read a poem on air.
Yeah, so she's the breakfast presenter on TalkSport,
and God bless her, she's trying to make the best of this.
Can you imagine her wincing in the background as this was going on?
But you said you've not heard this yet, Moscow?
No,
nor have I. So
okay, well
it's not something I would seek out.
I want you can give a full critical analysis on both the delivery of it and also the content. Maybe you've got an English degree, haven't you? You can maybe look at the way it's written. See if he's
do a close analysis, close reading.
Yeah,
do a full podcast on it. Maybe
his delivery is
line by line.
At points half-hearted, but I think maybe he's embarrassed and he's just trying to get through it quickly, as Sharon often does.
That's worrying because Warnock always strikes me as somebody with a high threshold for embarrassment. Yeah. So what would actually embarrass him? I suppose we're about to find out.
I was going to say, we've built this up. Let's just hear it.
I'm a poet, You talk about what you're doing for Valentine's Day. You should write your wife a poem. Should I read you a bit of this one?
Have you got one?
Yes, absolutely. This is one that I write in my thing. It's because don't forget, I have to rhyme, and I do it quickly. I don't plan it, so I just do it spontaneous. I put it's been a while since I wrote a rhyme. I'm not sure this one will stand the test of time, but there are certain words which I'd like to say about the love of my life around me every day. You're always there in my time of need, since the first day when you planted the seed. That smile said it all, that's why you're my girl. The look with those eyes sent my head in a whirl. I love you more than ever, that's for sure. We're a perfect match, I know there's no cure. I'm so in love with you at times I could cry. I find myself looking at you and boy do I sigh. You're so lucky today if you find the right wife. We're a match made in heaven, it's lasting for life. Two wonderful children, our Amy and Will. My father could see them, he'd call Grandpa Bill. I know he'd be proud of what we've been through, almost joined at the hip since stuck with glue. I never want you to be bored when I say I love you. The simple fact is, I just do.
Oh my God, Neil!
Is that any good or what?
It's amazing. You're just telling me that just rolled off the tongue. You scribbled it down, and that's like...
Yeah, because I have to plan the words that rhyme. You see, so I have to.
What a guy! What a guy!
I thought I was talking about Jeppo at first then. He's like, the love of my life, you've been at my side all this time.
Strong Paddy Kenny vibes, wasn't it? Right, lots of things rhyme with Paddy and Kenny. I don't know why he's bothering with the... Sharon's a difficult word to rhyme.
He was getting caught up on the rhymes as well, and obviously we knew that he grew up a blunt, so where could he have gone with that?
He definitely delivered the bit wrong. He said, if my father could see you, he'd call you Bill, or something. He said.
He needed... I mean, you were asking for... like marks out of 10 for his delivery. He needed to slow down and give it a little bit, because he did get a little bit into you've been at my side all my life, and in a back four you'll be you'll be next to big Jags and you'll be marking their big strike. He did have that kind of, like, he's running through, enjoy the marriage, but enjoy it by being disciplined here.
Wow.
As well, every day by your side.
Not is he?
Not really. She's desperately trying to get him a job, isn't she?
Yeah. Every day waving me off as I go to the airport on my way to Middlesbrough. Don't rhyme.
I'll book you a taxi, Neil. Don't you worry. Well, what a lovely ending. Anyway.
You can go away, but don't come back in a hurry.
I like to think it works for them. That's what I like to think. Because if we've learned anything this week, it's that, Bielsa is the romantic ideal. We need to cling on to romance and love and celebrate these things.
Love takes many forms, though, doesn't it?
It's just pure business. This'll rhyme if it's the last thing I do.
delivering it in the changing room. You know that video of him when he's swearing at all the players? You can find it on YouTube, by the way, which is good fun.
You have lots of videos of him swearing at players on YouTube. It's very much his thing.
Yes.
Including one telling them you can go out and get pissed and shag your wife on the back seat of the car. It's one of the videos. It's what he's instructing his players to do. Which is
the romance.
Valentine's Day in the 1980s.
I think it was even Chris Morgan looks a bit.
You're really saying this, Gaffer?
Well, you get up to, Gaffer. It's none of my business, really.
Lucky Sharon, eh? Right, well, let's wrap up propaganda there for this week. God, please, can we have something a bit more fun to talk about next week?
It can't be any worse, can it? It can. It definitely can.
It can get a lot worse, but, let's hope it doesn't. Let's remain on the side of optimism, as Bielsa would always tell us. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll do the main weekly show straight after this one, where presumably it'll be all sweetness and light, and we'll have a good time talking about everything, shall we? We'll try. Thank you. We'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.